Welcome to On the Spot. I'm your host, Norman Graham. I got Richard Gray here, OTS political analyst. I almost got stuck there for a quick second. The Eric Garner case. The verdict came in the other day. The grand jury did not indict the officer. What's your opinion?
My opinion, in regards to the verdict,
The verdict.
the verdict. We spoke about this like when it first happened in August, and I have to say I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. We spoke about it, and at that time, we weren't sure if he was going to get indicted, and nobody I think should be surprised.
It wasn't open and closed case. It wasn't.
No, it was not an open and closed case.
Because although he was choking him, he let him go. And his weight, he did let him go. It was he choked him out. He was on his back. He let him go. He had his head down. Yes, but he started saying more. He couldn't breathe after that. He wasn't choking him anymore. He wasn't choking him. It was his position, his weight, and his health. He was no longer choking him. Do you agree?
I don't agree.
It's all right. We're going to show the tape. We're going to push it back. It was from the time he had his head down and everything else. He wasn't choking you anymore. He did choke you, and he choked you for quite a few seconds. But he stopped. You just couldn't get your breath from the way you were positioned and your weight. And that's what they used to beat this here.
Oh, for a minute it sounded like you were advocating.
No, I'm not. No, without a doubt. No. Oh, he had to take a fall. He should take a fall. He will take a fall.
Departmentally, you think he's going
without that? He's not even getting past that. Before the feds get to him, he might not get past that at all. It's as simple as that. Bratton know what he has to do. De Blasio already told him. He has to go. But overall, after the verdict, they said, I'm going to tell you what happened. They said 1010 News was reporting that there was going to be a 4-hour break for police to get set up. What I believe happened was they realized with the rain out here, let's do it now. So right before I left the house to go to work, 1010 News reported 4-hour break. My partner Steve calls me and said they have a verdict. The Post broke it. Like, what do you mean they got a verdict? They said they're not going to do it. 5 minutes later, the Times popped up, ABC News, and everything started popping up. The bottom line, I guess they felt with the rain, if it rained hard enough, the people won't be out in the street protesting.
That's foolish. Not with something as serious as this. I don't think they can't be that foolish to think that that's going to stop. Because look at what's going on now. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening, and I think should happen in light of what happened. The grand jury system has to really, really be looked at, because all this secrecy and all of this testimony and presenting, and the way it's handled, there's definitely something wrong, because we've seen it too many times.
Well, guess what? It's over with when it comes to police now. They're gonna abolish this system. It's not working. You got DAs working too close with the police officers. Now, when the police do something,
can you really do anything about that?
Yeah.
It's like nurses and doctors. Their relationship is...
Special prosecutor. That's how Charles Hines got in office.
Special prosecutor, okay.
Special prosecutor. You come in to handle these cases. That's it. And when you walk out the door, you don't go sitting there and drink coffee with NYPD.
That's for all police involved.
Yes, I think considering that we're going to get to it, the Michael Brown case, after all of this stuff is happening, society has realized that this is a problem. I'm going to tell you something to show you how society has realized they have a problem, not counting white America is really leading the big protests. You have the Occupy Wall Street type movement in there. But do you agree that the whites is there?
They're there, but I don't really particularly agree with the way you phrased that.
Well,
they're leading the fight. They're leading the cause. I mean, we appreciate the support, but I mean, it seems a little phony, because look at what has to happen before they scratch their head and say, all right, maybe they're not lying. Me and you spoke about this on many different occasions. These are the things that happen to black folks on a regular basis.
We agree.
They had to kill scores of young black men. They had to let numerous white people or officials or whoever you want to say, defendants, get off and be acquitted. Zimmerman, this one, that one, before they even stand up and say, all right, well, maybe they're not crazy.
Well, what about good old, wait, what about good old Facebook? You don't think they have a role where every single day you stand there and you see a cop in any state doing something that just makes no sense? You're breaking the man's windows out. First thing, he's not the driver.
Right.
You stopped the
Another
driver
case, yeah.
for seat belts. She just happened to be white. The black guy's over there. He's not driving. Why are you harassing him about anything? He said, I don't have to. This happens on Facebook all the time. So people see this all over the world. And they realize this makes no sense.
Well, this speaks to the bigger problem. This is what the president and a lot of different people in higher positions are speaking of. The policing, the police culture, the way they police. It's not a matter of black, white, this neighborhood, that neighborhood. It's the police in general.
Mentality.
The mentality, the training, and being that they have a job to do and the things that they do require certain type of tactics. I would say tactics.
Mm-hmm.
What it is I think the discretion is up to them to do what they have to do to affect the arrest or whatever, uphold the law. But it's up to the people that are training them to give them better options. They need better options. I think a lot of them are taking this literally.
Okay, well here's the difference.
Got cigarettes. I'm within my rights to arrest him, charge him, or whatever. But like me and you speak again,
they're not like us.
Really,
they're not like us.
Well, they should be.
You can't teach it throughout your whole career. You try to make people understand. It's really not that important. How far are we gonna go
to smash the window to get a guy who's not driving to comply with something that probably isn't even a crime? Common sense is not common. These people, I'm not talking bad about cops because we need them.
Without a doubt.
We need them.
Without a doubt.
And even if you don't think so, they need us.
Yeah.
And this is what they're realizing now. They need us. There's got to be a change in the way police do their job. There's got to be a change.
Well, you know what? I think Bill de Blasio is the right person for this job because he campaigned on this. He said it. Mm-hmm. And he continued to utilize that my son is black. I got to do what black families do. I have to tell them, give my son the speech.
Is that a convenience or is it?
It worked for him. It worked for him.
Is it a political
It's no matter how hard you do it, the reality is.
Does he really understand it? I mean, all right, a lot of people can say, I side with the blacks. I understand. I feel their pain. As long as it's not you. I know it's hard to say that about somebody in their own child. That's his child. So he's not disconnected.
I watched this guy on CNN. And this guy, Cornel West was up there. Other brother reporter was up there. And the white guy kept saying, we as white people don't have to give our child a speech. So it's starting to hit them where they're realizing you got to talk to you, no matter who you are. Your black child, you better speak to him because New York Finest and other police departments don't give a damn. They'll split his head wide open.
Well,
and say, oh.
I know that.
And say, oh. So now what is the solution? Or what do we do next as a people? Let's start with New York and the Garner case. What do we do next? And how do we make changes?
Well, it's a start. They already started. They started training them. The cameras are a good start. The cameras are a great start. Documentation. But in the Garner case, they had video and it didn't work.
Didn't work at all.
But it starts from the top down. Like, you have to, it's a culture and the police follow what they're taught. Like, if you come on a job and this is what's the practice and what everybody's doing, it's not for you to say, well, I'm gonna make a change or whatever. Although it might be the right thing to do,
You're
just
following what
gonna
them
go
old timers
pretty
say.
much. You're gonna go along with it because they've survived X amount of years, this and that, whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. You want to be like them, not like them, but you want to be, you want to have their longevity, let's say. So you basically adhere to the things that allowed them to be where they are, or however they, however far they've gotten. So you got to start with the top, because whatever happens, it comes from the top.
Well,
It comes
de
from the top.
Blasio has made his point heard that he's not playing, that he want people accountable.
Mhm.
The stuff that was happening from years ago under Giuliani and Bloomberg will not happen in his administration.
Mhm.
He's coming out strong with it, and he's the guy to make that change. A lot of people might not like it, but he will make that change.
Well, that's yet to be seen. Politicians in general, to me,
Mm-hmm.
will say whatever they have to say.
Without a doubt, we gonna find out. We gonna
Regardless
find
of
out.
who he is, de Blasio, they say what they have to say. That's just the bottom line. So, for me to say, "Oh, this is a great start" or whatever, not really. I should be from Missouri, not the,
We'll be
no
right
pun
back with
intended.
that. The Mike Brown verdict. We'll be back. We're back. Richard Gray and Norman Graham. Next subject, the Michael Brown verdict. What do you think of that one? What do you think, brother? Come on. Is it going to continue
the word
to happen?
that comes to mind is, as harsh as it might be, corruption, corrupt, bias, racist,
Prosecution.
grand jury, leaks, inconsistencies, the way he handled the case.
Prosecution, first time in 28 years, he actually went the opposite of what he do.
Exactly. His family history, let's start with that. His father
Was
killed
ki-
by an African American while being a police officer on the job. How does that not
Tell you he needed a special prosecutor?
or require you to recuse yourself from that case? How can you be objective and unbiased in that situation? You're lying to yourself if you were to say, "Oh, I could be unprejudiced."
But you had about 51, 53 witnesses up there. Most of them you knew said that they lied about certain things. They told him this. All he needed was 3 or 4 people to get up there and say, "Hey, this is what happened," and that's it. This guy prosecutor turned around and played this here like it was a trial.
Right. He did. He actually presented everything as though it was a trial, and it wasn't a trial for the police officer wasn't on trial.
Darren
He
Wilson.
basically put Mike Brown on trial because I believe he was more concerned with his behavior than the police officer.
Well, I got a question. Pharrell made a comment about Mike Brown bullying tactics.
Which bullying tactics? You mean in the store when he
Yeah.
was stealing a cigarette?
Yeah. He said nobody talks about the fact that Mike Brown behavior the same way he was in the store. He might have done something out there to the police officer, but Mike Brown isn't here to tell.
I mean, all right. I understand. Well, no, I don't understand what Pharrell is talking about. How old is Mike Brown?
18.
Okay, he's an adolescent for the most part.
Yes.
A lot of decisions and a lot of the things that you think that you are, the things that you think you're gonna do when you're 18, you don't really give it much thought. And I'm not excusing the fact that he was doing things or acting thuggish or whatever, but basically he's a kid. And he stole cigars or whatever it is from a store. Breaking the law is wrong. It's wrong to do things like that or whatever, but big deal, basically, is what I'm saying. Big deal. Big deal.
So now,
Big deal. The gun thing, where did that come from? What is the gun thing?
did he pull the gun out on him and shot him in the car?
No, what do you have a gun in a why is a this is what I want to know, basically. Why is a gun introduced into a confrontation with two adolescents? And you say that all you want to do is get them to
out of
quit
the street.
jaywalking.
Yes.
Get out of the street. Where does the gun come into play? Nobody's talking about that. What do you need a gun for?
Yes. How did it get that far out of hand that quickly?
He's also stated, oh, he punched me in my face. He had an orbital fracture.
He didn't have nothing. He didn't have a mark on him.
He didn't have anything. As we came
Even
to
Nancy
find
Grace
out.
was like, yo, this is crazy.
Well, when now we know that was all bull. When did you pull out your gun? When you came up on him, you just pulled your gun out?
No, well, he tried to block him, and I think he grabbed him, actually, and was telling him to get out the street first.
All right, the first mistake. What are you putting your hands on him for?
Without a doubt.
That's your first mistake.
Now you went from trying to block him in to, I don't know how it was never explained how you were trying to get him in the car. Because Darren Wilson said he blocked him in that he couldn't get out the car. Well, why were you that close that he was able to do it? Like, he didn't just run up on the police. Now I want to go run on the police. I'm crazy.
I don't think anybody would do that.
No, you ran up on him and you tried to cut him off and he blocked you in. And I can't even say that because Mike Brown isn't here.
Right.
But again, we're at a position of how do these minor altercations get into a dead man and a gun, as you said, and a gun.
That's my take on it. I don't see where the gun comes into play at all.
Then,
now, if you feel that you as a police officer been a member of two police forces, you know, in your career, you've been in wherever you was at, and now you over here. Two young kids without a weapon,
yes,
require you to arm yourself. Something is wrong mentally in your mind. You're not fit to be in that capacity. Maybe you should do desk work, because as dangerous as it is, you have to have some sort of courage. You can't. It seems like he made a lot of bad decisions. He made one bad decision after the.
So, I don't recall our show, but you did you feel he was going to get away with this here, Darren Wilson?
Yeah, I did. And the more time it took for them to set it up, and the things that were leaked and the certain things that came out, I was almost positive that he wasn't going to get indicted. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I expected that. I expected it. We expected it. You expected it.
Yes. So now we moved. The grand jury leaked it out. It was going to happen. They were just giving us a little opportunity to get it in your mind. This is going to happen. So now it's leaked out. The stepfather, the wife, they were on top of the car screaming. Emotional. Looking like hoods. I'm
not gonna agree with that.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Because you dress in an urban fashion. You're not a hood. So
I agree.
I'm gonna rebut that by saying just because you wear
urban gear,
or your fashion sense is more.
Now here's where I'm gonna go with this. I got you, but here's where I'm gonna go. Here's where I'm going. You knew they were going to contact you before this. You've been around civil rights leaders talking about the wife, been around the mother, been around civil rights leaders for the past few months, high-powered lawyers and everybody. Somewhere along the line, you didn't need to be in the hood you needed to huddle with them lawyers because they called you before the verdict. So you needed to come out with a different appearance. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
So you think it was okay for them to be in the hood standing on top of a car? I don't care if it's your car. Standing on top of the car with your husband with his pants under his behind,
That
with
I
his
don't agree
underwear
with.
hanging.
That choice
Bear
of
in mind,
apparel,
the real father was giving out turkeys a couple of days before that. The real father said, we don't want no problem. We don't want to be rowdy. We'll take the good or the bad, and we'll take it from there. The mother is standing on a car. We're standing on a car with this guy with a mask in the back. Listen, why didn't you just go stand with the lawyers and come out and act like Rodney King and say, can't we all get along? Come on, man. Don't show us that. Now
Right,
this guy's screaming.
But your point is what? That because they are gonna be portrayed on national TV, they should change their appearance or try to assimilate towards
that we can elevate to some intelligence. Because now your husband,
that's a
your
lot
husband.
to ask from people that grew up the way they grew up.
Okay, but
they
your
have to
husband.
be who they are.
Okay, but now projecting who you are fits right into Darren Wilson because he said this guy was like a demon. Look at the father figure in the household is 30-some years old, 40-some years old, and he's standing with his pants under his behind. What image is that for this child?
I mean, all right.
Images.
I understand what you're saying. The semantics, the imagery, whatever it is that he grew up as, maybe that contributed to the way he behaved, and it probably did. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you have to be who you are, and you should know that more than anybody
but
else.
sometimes we have to elevate our game. Now
He could have just pulled his pants up.
and that would have helped a great deal. And
He
get off
coulda
the
told
damn
the guy
car.
with the mask to step back
Yeah,
because the
thank
cameras
you.
are here.
Thank you.
He could have did a lot of
Thank you.
things.
We don't need a
but
hood moment right now.
Really, it goes back. The root problem is bigger than just that. I mean,
Okay, now moving on.
I'm not gonna demonize them for being who they are.
We
They
can't.
are hood people.
Okay.
And I know plenty of hood people. They're good people.
Okay.
Right or wrong.
Okay, we're
They're
not going to
good
disagree.
people. They're hood, but they're good. That rhymes. I
Yes.
didn't mean it wrong.
Okay.
But
Okay,
they're
Jesse.
good people.
But now they're riding, and they're turning over cars. The tear gas is going. Don Lemon talk about they smoking weed.
Right,
He
right,
took the.
right,
But
We had
they're
nothing else to
riding.
say.
What are you doing in the neighborhood, burning your own stuff down, and then tomorrow you say we need to do a boycott? You just burnt your stuff down.
Well, what it is not so much as what they do, is what they're asking for. They want attention. They need to be heard, and obviously, from the way things have been in their town and what they see, nobody's listening. You know, so one way to get attention is through random acts of violence and things of that nature.
Yep.
You agree? Because
To a small degree, the prosecutor,
they've been paying quite a lot of attention.
they had a 1 month and change to go over what they want to do. There were several groups on the ground that were saying, hey, we're going to handle it this way, we're going to handle it that way. The purpose was to have a daytime verdict because the people that's usually doing the looting and the violence come out at night and they're not from the neighborhood.
Right. They hide under the shadow of the dark.
So now they decide we're going to come out at nighttime and we're going to box you in and let you vandalize your own community because we're not letting you out to come mess with ours.
More racism.
Yes.
More racism. Racism has many faces. We know that.
What?
They show us. See, it's like every time we come to the table, they switch the table. Like, we're not doing this anymore. My people are usually behind on what's going on. So now the justice. They done played with it in a way where, all right, you come into the court, justice is gonna. They moved the goalposts.
Before we close this out, I'm gonna say one thing. I'm proud of the people. They've been doing voter registration drives.
A positive.
Yes, because they realize that we're 67% of the population. We hold no elected seats. We can't run against this prosecutor. We can't do anything because we never paid attention to politics. So there's people in groups on the ground in Ferguson that's realizing a lot of this type of atmosphere, they contribute to it. So now they're saying, listen, we got to organize and be ready. And I say coming in the 2016 election, Ferguson, their area alone will do a lot better. 67% things is going to change.
We also have to realize that there are many Fergusons in this country.
Without a doubt.
We only, like somebody was saying the other day, if this hadn't happened, I wouldn't even know about Ferguson.
Without a doubt.
And
nobody else would either.
Wouldn't really know where or what's going on.
And there's plenty of Fergusons
There's plenty
out
of more Fergusons, and that speaks to a bigger issue. We minorities have to really pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. Not to Jay-Z and Beyonce and Kanye and Kanye and this. We need to pay attention and look. I mean, there's a bigger picture.
But we're closing it out now. But here's the difference. The people are aware now. See, they realize it was their fault. 67% of the population, if you have nothing, you should have been a part of the political movement for change. And that's what you're going to do. So we're going to be back on this subject because we're moving into 2016 is around the corner. And we have to deal with our community as a whole. And on the spot, it's going to have a very big part in that. But for right now, we're out. Next subject, Bill Cosby. Let's do a short one on Bill.
Bill Cosby.
We'll be back.
13, and it's even worse because Bill Cosby has the fucking smuggest old black man public persona that I hate. This gets on TV. Pull your pants up, black people. I was on TV in the 80s. I can talk down to you because I had a successful sitcom. Yeah, it was great women, Bill Cosby, so kind of brings it down a couple notches. I don't curse on stage. But yeah, you're a rapist, so it'll take you saying lots of motherfuckers on Bill Cosby himself if you weren't a rapist. I don't know what I'm doing about telling you. I guess I want to just at least make it weird for when you watch Cosby Show reruns. Dude's image, for the most part, it's fucking public Teflon image. I've done this bit on stage, and people don't believe. People think I'm making it up. I'm like, Bill Cosby did a lot of rape allegations. No, you did. No. They call me Captain Kick 'em Out. No. That shit is upsetting. If you didn't know about it, trust me. When you leave here, Google Bill Cosby Rape. It's not funny. This shit has more results than Hannibal Buress.
We're back. OTS, Richard Gray is here. Bill Cosby has been in the news so much it's unreal. Brothers canceling shows, don't want to talk to the press, suppressing interviews. Please don't put that up there.
They just recently stripped him of his honorary Temple University alumni status or whatever the case may be.
They didn't strip him. He took himself down. He came off the board. He did it his own self. They probably asked him to, but what do you think of Bill? It's been going on these allegations for a long time.
I respect Bill as a person and as a positive brother. And, I think that he's done a lot for black people in entertainment on a whole. I just want to say some of the positive things that he's done. He's as far as civil rights, he's active, has been active, and is still outspoken when it comes to his own people. He loves his people. I know that for a fact. He loves black people, as all of us do.
And white girls was the one doing men like OJ.
Pretty much. I think. All right.
Are you aware of how this all started?
Not really. Not
You know,
specifically.
the comedian did it.
Right. I heard that. Yeah.
The comedian
as
did
a
it.
part of his stand-up routine.
Yeah, was on some Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby's the rapist.
But we knew or we heard
About
this,
these allegations.
Yeah, for years. But my thing is, I think it's strange that all of a sudden, now in this time, as racially charged as things are, with all these verdicts and all these police misconducts, and racially having a all these things put together, and they would choose to demonize somebody like Bill Cosby, who basically, in my opinion, stands for positive in regards to the black community. He really represents something positive. Even if it's only on TV, even if it's only,
What do you say to the perfect storm? The comedian had his 5-10 minutes of fame.
Mm-hmm.
He said something. The way society is in social media, they went on social media. It was an outcry. The people was upset, and it just kicked off from there.
Upset about what?
Of what he said. They were upset that he said that in his stand-up. Then it became a topic, because you know how social media is.
Mm-hmm.
Now it became a topic that, hey, well, if you're a young guy, you didn't know. Yes, Bill's name has been mentioned in this quite a few times.
So it's like a snowball.
Yes, but a
like
perfect storm.
snowball.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. That's very possible, but more than likely, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cosby is in a position where he's interacting with many different types of people, and as far as Hollywood goes, I think he made somebody mad.
Well, he made people of color mad.
Not
If you,
that.
wait,
I'm
wait,
talking
wait.
about somebody with power.
Okay, yeah, but here's what I'm
Somebody
saying.
that
I'm not
has-
disagreeing, but he made people of color mad on several occasions when he told people, like the people in Ferguson, pull your pants up, get yourself together.
Yeah, well, all right. Thank you.
That type of attitude.
Well, who's gonna get mad at that?
They've
though?
gotten mad at him throughout the years.
But what I'm saying to you is, what type of people are gonna get mad
The
at
people
that?
that feel that Bill made it, they haven't, and he's no longer in the community, therefore he should shut up. Those were the people that've been talking about it for years when Bill say certain things.
All right, boy, I'm gonna take it one step further. To me, I think the people that are gonna get mad at that is that the people that can't see the fact that he is promoting. Well, all he's saying is have a little pride in yourself.
We don't
You
disagree.
know, be smarter about what you do, how you look, and the way you do it. So, to me, I was taught that all my life.
Exactly.
Brothers, mothers, uncles, everybody. Have a little pride in yourself. You know what I'm saying?
And then-
So, now the people that are going to be upset with that are the ones that haven't had the benefit of that and don't really understand that. Yeah, all right, you wear your clothes, whatever, but you're not going to take it too far. So, I'm not saying that the people that are gonna get mad are really the ones that they don't get it.
But he's up to about 21 accusations now. 21. Some of them go back 30 years.
To the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think. All right, this is my point. Where do these people come from, and who's getting them, and where are they finding them from? Somebody in a position of power, which we might never know, being the Hollywood culture, is mad at Bill Cosby.
We would never say no. You can never say
Somebody's
no.
mad at him, and they are destroying his career, destroying it for whatever reason. And this is just my personal
Did he bring
opinion.
some of it on himself?
By doing what? By having a healthy sexual appetite. I
I
mean,
that's
that's
the way to
my
look.
words, not yours.
Okay.
He has an appetite. I'm not even saying that I can say that because I don't know the man. I don't even know what he did. I just know what I hear. But all right, who in Hollywood who has the money that he has, the influence that he has, doesn't take advantage of their celebrity to,
One degree or another.
Involve themselves with women. We know numerous people
That's
in
what
a
they do.
position. That's what they do.
And the
So
women
how
are
is
there for
he-
that. We got the Playboy bunnies.
All right.
Well,
So
you go to
how
the-
is he wrong for doing what everybody else is doing? I'm not saying that everybody's doing
If we
it.
use a lady that's the Playboy bunny, I'm kind of confused with that. Because if you're at the Playboy mansion, what do you think they're here for?
It doesn't justify what they accuse him of. Like, all right, if you consent and it's consensual, that's one thing. They're saying that he drugged them and things of that nature. That's
Uh-huh.
wrong, because, and furthermore, why would he have to do that?
Yeah,
He's Bill Cosby.
He got to drug him to get something. But wait a minute, one
Yeah,
lady
that's
said,
what I never
one
understood.
of the ladies said, he gave me some pills and some water and said to take that,
And you took it.
and you took it.
And now we supposed to believe you that
You took. So anybody can just. Oh, but that's Bill. So Bill said, take these pills. For what? For what? I don't know. Maybe CNN didn't show all that. MSNBC. They just said. You said. Next thing you know, they're taking your hand and putting it on down his pants, and you just let his hand guide you down there like
the
you
pills
can't.
were strong.
Yeah,
It
you
was strong.
whether the pills,
the
you
pills were
can't
strong.
figure this out. But with all of that in mind, is it where there's smoke, is it fire?
Well,
I mean, these allegations has been going for a long time.
I'm gonna say that maybe, right? We talking about decades.
Yes,
Decades.
yes.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
You could get none without giving them the pills.
No, all right. I'm just gonna say, all right. In the '60s,
Uh-huh.
things that were done in the '60s wasn't done in the '70s.
Mhm.
Things that are done in the '70s wasn't done in the '80s, and so on and so forth. So, I'm not condoning or saying that it was the right or the wrong thing to do, but back then, I'm pretty sure a lot of things happened that we don't have information.
Are you
or
aware?
privy to.
Bill spoke in one of his shows about Spanish fly,
Yeah, I heard that.
which make it even worse.
And what happened to that? Because I grew up and I heard about Spanish fly.
Of course,
All right, so-
everybody did.
so-
But
I mean, it just seems that they victimizing him for a specific reason, and this vagueness of all these charges coming from left, right, and center is very specific what's going on, and we don't know. Just like I said, we don't know, and we might never know.
How
But
do you-
It's very specific. The reason why they targeting Bill Cosby.
do you think he should say something?
About why?
Why he's not? What do you think of why he's not saying something?
Because whoever's holding this over him is apparently much more powerful than we could, begin to imagine.
Mhm.
More powerful than Bill,
But,
where-
well, I honestly think had Bill had the opportunity to get this new venture he was involved in with Netflix and everything else,
Mhm.
that he was going to take this here to a whole different level. Of course, his previous show,
Mhm.
he got us where we are. Where,
I wouldn't even agree with that.
No, you don't think that
He changed the
the
mindset.
outlook of how people,
Right, he changed
white
the
America
mindset
didn't
of how-
think
yeah.
that a black family lived like that. That there was a doctor and a lawyer in the family.
I didn't even think that they lived like that.
No, I was quite sure they did, but people didn't think that blacks could live like that. So he changed the mindset of
He
society.
did. He did.
So now with this show, that whatever he was about, his venture was,
He was gonna go that much
it was
further.
going to go that much further. Because see, when he did what he did, he wanted to buy, what was it, CBS, NBC?
I believe it was NBC.
Yeah, he was going for everything, and they had to stop him. So what was his plan on this go round?
See, there you go. You're getting at the root cause.
Oh no, no
And-
doubt,
and-
no doubt, no
and-
doubt. I just had to
and
take
as
you
much
for a
as
little
we-
spin.
As much as we try to avoid the fact, there's certain things, as we can see with our president, that they're gonna allow you to do. I'm speaking of the system, the man, so to speak,
Exactly.
quote unquote. They're only gonna allow you to do but so much.
And
And
Bill was about to do it.
Bill might have been about to do it, or maybe he just said too much. That's another aspect of it. They're gonna let you be vocal and verbal, and they're gonna get you rouse up your people. but they know the limit. They know how far you can go, and they're not gonna give up everything. They've done too much. All that they have invested in miseducation, incarceration. The list goes on. They have a lot invested in that.
Yes, keeping
that
foot on your neck.
Keeping it that way, and I don't think who could be foolish enough to think that they're willing to just, they're guarding it at all costs. We might not see it. I know, but the plan is.
There was a reason behind it.
There's a definite reason behind it. And I really, maybe I want to know, maybe I don't want to know. Because if you know, you might change your whole outlook on what's going on,
OTS will be back next week. We're out.